And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to day number 3 of the Masters Coliseum 6 Group Stage Group D. I'm, of course, your live VIP. Of course, handling the production is Kuro, aka 16 Squad Senseki, and we are joined by some lovely and beautiful players. We're going to be kicking things off with Lambo versus Dark. As a reminder, if this is your first time tuning in, the group stage is round robin. 7 players step in. Sorry. 7? 6. 6 players step in, 3 players make it through. The other 3 will be eliminated, and we'll find out the final score here when we do wrap things up tomorrow, of course, as this is a 2-day event for Group D. Each group takes 2 days, of course, and now we're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the German Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion. Oh my, it is Lambo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. But we already have a really interesting opener here. So Lambo, he is going for a 15-15 in the ZvZ. Clearly, once again, he is an Eric enjoyer. Really interesting here. So there's a couple of pros and cons to this. There should be a 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. This does give you access to faster queens and faster lings. This is a very defensive opener overall. It does delay your gas here, so you can't be as aggressive with ling speed. You can't be as aggressive with bailings or roaches or anything like that. Typically, you may even skip ling speed with this and go 2-base roach as well. At least that's how Eric would approach this conundrum of delayed gases. So yeah, really interesting stuff here from Lambo to mix things up this early on in the series. Across the map, Dark just going for a hatch gas pool at standard stuff. Standard opener here from Dark. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. And again, we're going to be looking at Lambo to mix things up because he is coming in as, you know, as the underdog, I should say. You know, Dark, the best Zerg player in South Korea, one of the best Zergs in the world, and has some of the best ZvZ in the world as well. So I'm really excited here for Lambo. Lambo, he has been impressing us quite a bit recently. I think it was in Home Story Cup where he took down Raynor in the group stage in a ZvZ as well. But I feel like Lambo versus Raynor is a little bit different in the sense that there's a lot of mind games going on. Lambo and Raynor, they practiced a lot together. They talk to each other a lot about the game. And of course, Lambo was Raynor's coach for a long time as well. So I do think that Lambo, he has that kind of mindset advantage, or he's kind of has a better idea of how Raynor thinks about the game, approaches the game, and that does lead to certain advantages in that ZvZ matchup. Here against Dark, Lambo doesn't have that, so we'll see how he does here. As a reminder, the players have had plenty of time to prepare for these matches. This is a big, major event for these players. It's kind of the big thing, even a bigger prize pool than Home Story Cup, for example, and yeah, we'll see how Lambo approaches this. I mentioned earlier, because of this opener, we have really delayed gas income or gas resources here for Lambo, so I imagine he's going to be going 2-base roach and he's going to be skipping ling speed, but we'll see if that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, across the map, we see Dark, oh my god, going for his third on time, but racing his way into a very fast lair. Jesus. Bearing in mind that he hasn't even scouted yet. The lings are just now moving out across the map to get a read on what's going on. There is that wall-off from Lambo. Again, this is exactly how Eric would approach this whenever he went 15-15. To make up for his, you know, lack of ling speed and delayed gases, he just cuts some corners and goes straight into roaches. For Dark to rush into a lair like this, I'm very curious to see how he does approach this game. It looks like +1 range is on the way. I was thinking he could maybe go into a fast Spire, but alas, it is going to be just fast roach speed instead, I imagine. On top of that, with that fast lair, he's going to be able to have a very fast Overseer scout as well to get a read on what exactly Lambo is up to. Lambo is taking all 4 gases. He's working on +1 carapace. I was talking about Dark going into mutaplay, but Lambo, this is a setup for a Ling Roach all-in. Interesting. The reason for that is that carapace does mean that your lings are more durable, especially against defensive banelings. They do allow your roaches to be durable as well, especially against defensive lings from your opponent. So yeah, this is going to be very aggressive coming out from Lambo. We'll see if he even expands and takes another base behind this. Meanwhile, Roach production has commenced. He's fully saturated here on his 2 bases across the map. Dark is going to be droning up a little bit here, saturating his 3rd base a little bit, but also focusing on Roach production. And because of his fast lair, he already has Roach speed on the way. He already has that Overseer on the way. There we go. Overseer is diving in for that scout to get a read on what exactly his opponent is up to. Lambo is going to be taking his 3rd. The lair has been scouted. The gas is soon to be scouted, and the goal here from Dark is to try to see if there is a spire or not. Nice denial of the scout, and the natural base hasn't really been seen here from Dark, so he's not fully aware of what's going on. And here we go. Lambo is going for the all-in. The queens are welding across the map, so it's not just a Roach all-in, also the queens as well. Again, that's what +1 carry base really does facilitate. Oh, and now it's going to be Dark on the back foot. He's bringing everything forward. What's important is that Dark didn't really saturate his bases. He didn't take his gas in his main base either. He's making nothing but roaches, nothing but queens. He wasn't really too greedy at all. He is ready for the assault. Behind this, Lambo does throw down a spire. Interesting. So he moves out and he pulls back. Lambo is droning. He's basically posturing. He's faking an attack, faking aggression, but he's going to trigger a counterattack by Dark. Dark is like, mate, you made me make all of this army. I'm gonna use it. Like, you think I'm just gonna stay at home? Nah, Bobby. Now here we go. The roaches have arrived. Dark has a massive supply lead as well. We do have queens for transfuse and plenty of energy for transfuse as well. But Dark has an overwhelming amount of roaches. Can Lambo hold on again? Clutch transfuses. He's holding. He's pushing Dark back. So far, so good. Lambo, he survives the counterattack. We have that spire on the way in the main base. And so far, Lambo, he is getting away with this. Meanwhile, Dark will have a stronger Roach army. He does have +2 range. +2 range on the way, which of course is superior than 1-1 when it comes to the Roaches. Once again, Lambo, he's posturing. He's moving out. He's revealing himself to this Overlord. But mutas are on the way. Really, Lambo, he's droning. He's just once again kind of faking out an attack while he's focusing on his economy. I believe the Overseer did see the droning happening here at the 3rd base of Lambo. So Dark has an idea of what's going on. But he's not quite ready for the mutas. He hasn't scouted. There's no Hydroden. There's only 3 queens and no Spore Crawlers. And here we go. The mutas are about to move out. So we have some options here. Lambo could try to just clear out these Overlords, or he can go for some economic damage instead. Here we go. He's just banking up his mutas. So Lambo, he's made 6 mutas. Fun fact, 5 mutas is enough to one-shot a drone. So again, 6 does give him a little bit of leeway here as he does reveal his hand. Does head towards that 3rd base. He goes straight for the queen. Queen is going to go down. Drone's going to go down. This triggers a massive counterattack from Dark. He has to make something happen with his army. Drones are going down left and right. Dark is all in. But Lambo is getting ready. He's got Ravagers on the way. He's got Queens on the front lines already. Dark, he needs to get some economic damage done because he is falling hard. 15 drones go down across the map. His Roach army pushes on forward. Lambo was waiting for him. And it looks like Lambo does barely have enough. GG gets called, and Lambo will take game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Este Lambo. Constant mind games out of Lambo. And this is what we saw in Lambo versus Reigner at Home Story Cup. We saw something very similar there as well, where Lambo, he was kind of feigning aggression or just revealing one thing and going for another instead. Really smart play here out of Lambo, just kind of forcing Dark to play to the beat of Lambo's drum. Again, a big just to wind it all back here. Initially, it was a 2-base all-in from Lambo, but I do think that he pulled back. I don't think his initial plan was to pull back, but because he got scattered by the Overseer, he did. He just moved out across the map, halfway across the map. He set up the creep highway, and he pulled back instead, forced and goaded Dark into a big counterattack, into a big counter all-in, which of course Lambo defended, and then he got away with the Spire, he got away with the mutas, and he only made enough mutas to kill workers. He only made enough mutas to kill a queen. Remember, it was only 6 mutas in total, not too big of a commitment, and he just was making nothing but roaches behind it to make sure he was able to survive against that attack, against Dark's counter all-in, because Dark had no answer. So again, really well thought out, really methodical play out of Lambo. Really well done. GG. Oh. Let's go. And, you know, this is a best of 3. As a reminder, it is a best of 3, so Dark, he's got to be careful here. One more loss, and he will be done. So he's going to have to try to bring it back here and now. As you can see, we have the map Vitas, we have the map picks. Game 2 is going to be taking place on Gressman. Oh boy, and yeah, Dark is going to have to try to be a little bit more alert as to what Lambo is up to. That's the scary thing about ZvZ. As we just saw, there's a lot of mind games that can go on. There's a lot of like counterplay, and honestly, scouting is king. Scouting is king. Dark, he needs to recognize whether or not Lambo is ever droning and saturating his third base, when he does or doesn't pull back as well. Like Link scouting, Overlord scouting, Overseer scouting, like it is so important here. Either that or your intuition to kind of get a read on what your opponent will do next, whether they'll commit or not, and being able to like anticipate that as well. So yeah, that's why there's some beauty. There's definitely some beauty in ZvZ. But of course, you can also just ape it up. You can you can just go for some aggression and all in yourself. And you know, if you have superior mechanics, then you can try to leverage that with Ling Bane control, with counterattacks, especially in the mid game. But we didn't quite get into the mid game there. Again, it was just a bunch of just mental battles going on. Catching up. Dark's dungeon is it is. Oh my god, I feel like Dark's background is more censored than normal. There's definitely something going on there. Maybe something was added. Maybe he installed his swing finally. Ay. It's beautiful. Dark, he wants to use it, but Lambo refuses, but he refuses. We'll see. Personally, I hope that we do end up in an ace match. I do hope we go all the way to the distance to game number 3. But it's going to be on Dark to make that happen. Catching up. Where is Asher? Give Asher or death. Oh, die, Seether, die. Asher should be joining me over the weekend. Again, unlike you know, Asher, he's got an of course, a day job, I should say. That he has to be awake for, that he has to be well rested for, and I don't want to overwork Asher, you know, I don't want to overwork him, so yeah, over the weekend, should be getting some Asher on the channel. All good. Until then, I'm going to try to hold on my own for the most part. I may be joined by another CranKy Duckling later on tonight. It's possible. No promises, but could happen. Likewise with Yaku. Yaku should also be joining me over the weekend for ESL Asia and for one of the days of Masters Coliseum as well. So, yeah, they come. Okay, I just got to warm up for them, you know? I just got to warm up. Ay. Oh, God. Este Frost. Just redeemed a replay cast. I'm gonna let you know now, Frost, that we're gonna hold off on the replay cast until a later date. But we'll bear that in mind. These are long casts. The Masters Coliseums, they go for quite some time. We'll get to it. I promise. But I don't promise we're gonna do it today. Ay. But we were just waiting for the players to get ready. I don't blame them. Again, it was a pretty intense game 1. We are getting ready for game number 2. No, Asher's delicate, Bobby. He's delicate. I have to handle Asher with care. I don't want to break him. Oh, not again. As the lobby has been made, and we are getting ready for game number 2 already. The foreign hopes, even the foreign scene. Lambo has been starting the series, popping off, taking game 1. And can he take the series 2-0 It's possible. It's definitely possible, and that will change so much here in the standings, in the overall group. It's round robin. Every match does count. Oh boy. Especially this next one. Especially game 2. Scammed. True. Scammed, Poppy. Scammed. Oh. And here we go. And we've just been taking this moment to just have a gander at our lovely players, Lambo and Dark. It looks like Lambo's still just waking up. But we are finally loading into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Aggressvan. We have the German Zurich player representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Lambo. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zurich player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Down in this series, looking to bring it all back now. As a reminder, to for some context, of course, Royal Blood has a much shorter rush distance, so aggression is more. It's definitely a lot more on the table in the cards, a lot more possible on that map. Here, a little bit less so. Aggressvan, one of the largest maps in the map pool, has a longer rush distance, has a lot of really defensive advantages as well with all of these ramps. So instead, we have a hatch gas pool opener from both players this time, including Lambo, which is important to bear in mind. If you remember, game 1, Lambo did go for a 15-15 into 2-base Roach. This time, a much more standard setup. As a result, I imagine both players will be taking their third bases on time, on location, and I imagine we're going to be getting into Ling-Bane aggression. A much more straightforward ZvZ. But we'll keep an eye out. So we'll keep an eye out on any kind of deviation here between either player, whether we skip the Baling Nest, whether we take additional gases, we start walling off, avoid the third. There are options. But yeah, game 1 was really beautiful. I always appreciate it when there's layers to a ZvZ. It doesn't happen all the time, but whenever it does, yeah, I can definitely appreciate things like that. For now, Dark and Lambo are going to be scatting each other with these overlords. They confirm the hatch first as they do come across the creep, and they will be pulling back, making sure they don't lose the first overlord to a queen or anything like that. Just getting confirmation of the openers. First 2 Lings are moving out across the map. They're going to be testing each other's control with the Ling v Ling, and they're also going to be looking to get a scat across the map as well, as the Lings actually avoid each other. They do avoid each other. Now these Lings are going to be looking for any fast gases. They're going to be looking for fast Evo chambers as well. Third bases are being confirmed. So everything is looking normal. Dark is going to get zoned away a little bit, but he does also confirm that a Baling Nest is on the way as well. So this time, no 2-base Roach. There's no skipping of Banelings. And yeah, this time, a much more standard ZvZ. We even get 1 Ling slip past the queens into the main base. There's no additional queen here, and now we're just going to get a full scout of the main of Dark. Really well done here by Lambo. Just again confirming lack of additional gases, lack of Evo chamber or lair. Making sure he is safe and sound. This is something that Dark doesn't have. Of course, the things that I just mentioned are really unlikely, so there is no pressure on Dark to dive in and get a scout off. It's just, something nice to have. Nice added bonus. As Lings of Lambo have arrived, but we have queens, we have defensive Baelings as well. Dark should be safe and sound as long as the control is on point. And likewise, we do see Lambo piling on the aggression here with his own aggressive Baelings. Meanwhile, both players are throwing down very fast Roach Warrens. There's a Roach Warren behind the mineral line for Dark. There's a Roach Warren here in the wall for Lambo. So Dark's is a little bit more hidden. Lambo's a little bit more overt. And they're just going to be scouting each other. Dark gets eyes on that Roach Warren. Likewise, Lambo also attempts to scout, but checking his vision, he did not see that Roach Warren. Up! Up! Oh my god, even a drone goes down in the main. Not too bad. Dark going for a big counterattack. Roaches are coming up behind this as well. Bit of a misplay. Misstep. One Baneling does go down, but likewise, Dark also loses a Baneling. Dark being forced back, but again, he's cutting workers very early on. This is going to be a hashtag all-in. Dark cutting workers at 36, making nothing but roaches. He does have to be careful not to get surrounded. Lings across the map are looking also for a scout or even to pick up a couple of drones, and they will get one more. They are distracting the army of Lambo while everything rushes across the map. Lambo, he's got a spine crawler on the way. He did drone up a little bit too much as well. Hopefully Dark doesn't spend too much time at this third. We'll see. He could try to go for the third or try to go for the jugular for the kill. He's definitely thinking about it. He's flirting with the idea. Yes, be careful not to get surrounded. Oh, a couple of roaches do get caught out. Banelings, they arrive. They're going to be able to zone away the Lings here of Lambo. And Dark can dive on top of this army. Again, not the best Baneling connections from either player. Dark is getting surrounded. Ling reinforcements are coming in, but these roaches are getting very low. And Dark is being pushed back. He dives back in again, though. Up. He's barely breaking through these Ling reinforcements. They're doing so much here to buffer for the roaches of Dark. But it looks like he's running out of steam. Dark is going to have to back off. Gets one more roach. Going to get one more drone up towards the end. And Dark is going to be bleeding out a couple more of these roaches. At the same time, he has Ling reinforcements coming in from behind. He can go for the mineral line. He can go for the third base as well. He's got options. And he goes for the natural. Behind this, Dark is droning. So he's transitioning out of this. Trying to recover from this all-in. And oh, these things are getting out of control. They're getting out of hand. So many drones are going down. Ay, ay, ay. Initially, Lambo's defense wasn't looking too bad. But he was dragged out of position. 11 drones go down. And back at home, Dark, he's about to finish his lair. About to get into roach speed. He's fully saturated as natural. He's getting his third base fully saturated as well. And Dark even has a supply lead. He's done everything he needed to. He crippled the economy and the army of Lambo. And Dark is ahead in every aspect right now. He's ahead in tech, army, and economy. There are ways for Lambo to come back in this game, like say like a Baneling run by. If he slips into a mineral line, maybe he can get a lot of damage done. But Dark isn't really waiting for him. He pushes out, forcing a reaction out of Lambo, revealing his roaches before pulling back. And Lambo has to do something crazy, and that crazy thing is Aspire. It's a bit of a Hail Mary play. It does make a lot of sense. Oof, as he does barely deny that Overseer. But yeah, there's a lot of power in Aspire. The problem is that it's going to take a long time. And Dark, one, he's supply blocked, but he's making 6 Overlords. And yeah, GG. I was going to say that he's just going to make an army and push out. Lambo recognizes that. He taps out, and Dark ties up the series 1-1. GG. In a very powerful attack from Dark. The defense was looking really close. Lambo was almost able to hold on. I mean, he initially did, but he was pulled out of position. He was, chasing some of the last remaining forces of Dark all the way towards the northern portion of the map, and that exposed his natural. And the Ling reinforcements, after the initial hold, they were the ones that dealt all the damage. They got 11 drone kills, just crippling Lambo. GG. Dark, stoic as ever. Of course, expecting to win game 2 and hoping to bring it back here as we have the ace match. That is all I wanted. I wanted a game 3 between these two players, and that's what we're going to be getting. And game 3 is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. Things are about to get crazy. So typically on Neo Humanity, I would talk about how small it is and how congested it is, and there are all these narrow choke points and ramps, and it's really defensive, and we can get like a 40-50 minute game. that's applicable to the other matchups. ZvZ, not so much. ZvZ, because the rush distance is so short, we can see a lot of aggression here. We can see a lot of Ling Bane all-ins, Roach timings as well, especially with that Rich Vespian Gas Geyser. Things can get wild. Here we go. We are going to be loading on in the final game of the series. Oh. I should have also mentioned that tonight was a bit of a later start to the broadcast, but yeah, the series have been making up for it. We are catching up here, and the series, one way or another, it all ends on Near Humanity. Oh boy. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Near Humanity, we have the German Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. Oh my. Oh my. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Dark. And this opener from Lambo makes a lot of sense. We saw this in game 1. It is a 15-15. And the advantages of this is you get faster queens, you get faster lings. And as we were talking about in game 1, this typically leads to 2-base Roach. And when talking about the advantages of Neo Humanity and how narrow the choke point into the natural is, it does make sense for Lambo to try to slow the game down, to be more defensive, and to just get rid of the potential of Ling Bane aggression. That's the power of 2-base Roach, is that you're skipping the Ling Bane portion of the game, whether you're maybe not confident, or maybe you just don't enjoy it, or you just want to avoid the risk that comes with Ling Bane control and Ling Bane battles. That's kind of what the read that I'm getting here from Lambo is. Meanwhile, across the map, Hatch gas pool from Dark, very standard, very normal, very economic out of our Red Zerg player. Because of that, Dark will have an economic advantage coming into this game. But we'll see what Lambo decides to go for here. If he does decide to go for a 2-base all-in, or if he decides to macro normally off of this. Now the queens are already on the way. As we can see, Dark still doesn't even have his spawning pool done yet. Again, this is the advantage of the 15-15. The spawning pool is just so much earlier here for Lambo. Queens are going to be coming out. Likewise, Dark is just going to be droning happily, getting his own Ling speed. Still a little bit unawares as to what's going on as he checks and he confirms the timing of the hatchery. Meanwhile, I believe Lambo should be skipping Ling speed, but we'll see. Because Lambo actually pulled into gas a little bit earlier this time. As he's just bringing his queens forward. Again, I'm still imagining that he's going to throw down that Roach Warren wall, but it's on Lambo. Dark back at home, taking his third base on time, on location. He's also spreading out his overlords, keeping an eye on any would-be third of Lambo, even just double-checking the linear third location as well to make sure that he's aware of what Lambo is up to. And as we can see, Lambo is just focusing on queen production. He is not getting Ling speed. He's not getting a Baneling Nest. It is 2-base Roach. And Dark is making a lot of Lings. Oh. Okay, a lot of Lings are on the way for Dark. Meanwhile, I assumed it would be 2-base Roach, and it is going to be when it comes to the wall here at the natural base. But Lambo, he's rushing into a very fast lair. Lair is on the way for Lambo. The wall is upon us. So far, the wall looking quite strong here. And Dark is going to be punished. He invested a lot of lava into these Lings. All of these Lings could have been drones. They could have all been workers, and Dark would have been better off for it. These Lings can't really accomplish anything. The wall was going to be made anyway. Yeah, they're threatening the wall, but alas, Lambo is able to hold on. We have +1 carapace on the way. This is looking just like game number 1, where Lambo is setting up for a big Roach Queen push. Likewise, Dark also going for his own +1 carapace. He's, of course, getting his third base. Dark, he's down in workers right now because he made all of these links, so he has some catching up to do, as he himself is also going into roaches. Thankfully, he didn't make a baneling nest. He's aware that his opponent is skipping baneling, so he's just going straight for the roaches himself. And here we go. From this point, Dark making another massive swell of lings. Now, these have a little bit more purpose. Earlier on, these lings, they should have been workers. Now is a good time to make lings just because Lambo is soon to push out, and we are going to need an army to deal with this. Ahead of time, Dark, he recognizes the power of a 2-base all-in, so he is just knocking down the towers, and this will slow down the push of Lambo. So Dark, he's fully aware of what's going on. Does get eyes on the upgrades, of course. Because of that, he knows that the lair from his opponent is already done. Dark taking all 3 gases and working on his own lair. Roaches are in production. Bold here of Dark to actually move out across the map. He is going to be avoiding some of the overlords, but not all of them. This will be spotted by Lambo. Really interesting move here from Dark. So he reveals his army, he moves out, and he's droning. He's droning behind this. He's forcing a big reaction. We do have a spine crawler on the way here from Lambo, making more roaches. But the question becomes, are we poking the bear? There we go. Lambo, he cancels. He recognizes that Dark pulls back. That Dark was just faking an attack. And again, the power of neo-humanity. Even though we have a full wall-off, or for the most part, a wall-off here at the natural, Lambo, he's working on these rich on these rich minerals. He can expand here towards the left-hand side instead. Or he changes his mind. He's going for the center base. And Dark, he forced an army, right? He was faking out aggression, but Lambo, he's gonna make use of it. Like, he's up right now in supply. He has an insane amount of roaches. +1 carapace is done. He's looking to push on through. Good biles here out of Dark. Gonna be supply blocking Lambo. Likewise, Dark also supply blocked. But he's setting up for a massive counterattack. Dark is getting ready back at home. We have a spine crawler. We have more roaches on the way. Lings try to get us around on maybe that third base, but no, Lambo's able to deflect it. Looking at the units tab, Lambo has double the roach count of Dark right now. Jesus. That's a lot of roaches. But he's still not attacking. He's still trying to work through these rocks. And here we go. We have 34 roaches. 35 to the 23 of Dark. Dark will have Ravagers, though. So will his opponent. This Ling counterattack is keeping a lot of the roaches busy, to be fair. So, Lambo, he won't be attacking with his full force. This will give Dark a chance, as Dark is still down 20 supply. And Lambo, he's consolidating his army, he's bringing everything together. He has a massive supply lead. Dark is going for a counterattack, which is nice. He's going to take down a base, but can he hold on? Files are going to be forcing back Lambo's army, giving Dark a little bit of time. Up! Oh, Jesus. But Lambo, he knows how much of an advantage he has. He's just pushing his way forward, forcing his way through the army, and Dark, he has to pull the boys. He has to pull workers. He can afford to lose some. To be fair, he's ahead in the worker count. They're doing a great job at buffering. That spine crawler putting in a lot of work. Queens are being brought to the front lines as well. Is it enough? Lings, they come in from behind. And with these reinforcing Lings, it looks like Dark will hold. That was a close defense, though. Dark, he had to pull every single worker at that third base. 16 drones went down. But now Dark, he's going to be able to go for his own counterattack. He also killed the third of his opponent with that Ling run by. But it looks like Dark just doesn't have enough. But again, even though Lambo has a higher worker count, he's oversaturated. Like, it's not really it's a little bit deceiving here looking at the worker counts between the players. I would say that Dark is now ahead economically, especially with this third base. Nice contamination on the third, by the way. Going to be slowing down the larva production. But Dark, after defending, he's going for the Spire. I think this is a really risky move, but a really smart move. Potentially. I'm a little bit concerned. So, this has been unscouted, and Mutas can win Dark the game. But Lambo isn't making workers. He's saturating the space, but these are transferred workers from the main. He's going for his own Spire, and Lambo is making more and more rushes. No, never mind. Okay, he is now droning. He's making workers. Dark is getting away with this. And Dark's Spire is going to finish first. Bear that in mind. There we go. 6 mutas are already on the way. We talked about it earlier, but 6 mutas is ideal. I mean, 5 is enough to one-shot, but 6 is enough to make sure that you have a little bit of wiggle room. And he's actually going to double down. He's making a couple more mutas. Overseer comes in for a scout. Looking at the vision, it looks like, yep, Dark, he does see the Spire. He knows. He's aware of the mutas on the way here from his opponent. +1 air attack in production for Dark. The mutas have arrived. They go straight for the queen. First queen will fall, and then we go straight for the workers. When it comes to the ground army, they are pretty comparable with each other. But it's all about the mutas. It's all about the army in the skies. Stark is hunting down more overlords. He's able to get 3 workers. Lambo does have better gas income because of this rich Vespine gas geyser. But Dark, he's coming in from behind as well. He wants to break this position, and it looks like he will. Massive bars are going to connect. The mutas, they come in from behind. Oh, it's going to be a rough fight for the mutas, but I believe Dark's ground army is going to overcome Lambo. Yeah, the Biles even supporting the mutas in the skies. We break on through, and Dark has done it. GG gets called. Plus. And Dark will take the series 2-1. GG. Oh my god. And that was a pretty intense game. The 2-base all-in from Lambo almost killed Dark. He was up 20, almost 30 supply. You can even see it in the scorecard as well, just how far behind Dark was. But he was doing a great job at buying time, distracting the army with that Ling counterattack, bringing forward his queens with Transfuse, having a Spine Crawler in the back line, connecting with Biles, and eventually having his Lings come in from behind as well and get the full surround. It was and of course, pulling the boys, losing 16 drones, but it was worth it. It was worth it for the cause. And Dark will take down Lambo in the first series, but if you're a fan of Lambo, don't worry. We have plenty of matches ahead of us. You can see them here before you in the upcoming matches for the night. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, a ZvZ between Ryung and DRG. See you soon.